So we have the craziest news so far. Blizzard decided to just dump like a million new things in this 10.1.5 patch in a single day, and it's just like I don't even know where to exactly start. So the biggest news so far is that we have data mined over 100 new dragon riding mounts. Essentially, all the dragon mounts that you guys have are going to more than likely become dragon rideable ASAP. We already have data mined some new animations to the old mounts. Furthermore, there is a Kalimdor dragon riding event, meaning this spread to the old world already, and it may be happening sooner than we thought. There is actual Galakrond, there is actual Iridikron as a boss, there is the 3rd Evoker spec, there are new warlock races such as light warlocks, which involves new lore. All allied race restrictions have been removed amongst other things, so this is just insane new information, as there is even more to this as well. So let's dissect it one by one and cover every single little bit of information that we currently have. Before we get into the video, I want to show you guys the Bridge wallet, the perfect minimalist, sleek wallet that can fit up to 12 cards as well as cash on the side. Now, they're so confident in this wallet that it has a lifetime warranty, and you can also test drive it, so if you don't like it, you can send it back. Now, recently, they started making key cases as well, which really fits in perfectly with your Bridge wallet. Now, if you use my code DORON, you can get a great discount, and make sure to just check out my link in the description as well, so ridge.com/DORON and use code DORON. So, to start off with the coolest information, looks like Blizzard was actually right in that official video and Galakrond is coming. However, we got official confirmation from a Blizzard PR on Twitter that he will not be a boss, but he will be involved, which strongly hints at how the storyline is going to play out. We don't really have to speculate, we literally data mined his new model, his head, and it is absolutely gigantic, scary, and very cool looking at the same time. We'll be going into some type of a new mega dungeon, so a time travel scenario, and this is very obviously more than likely going to be some type of an alternate timeline, as there are infinite dragons and infinite versions of the current characters. So we finally got the new model for Morchi, which is the dark version of Chromie. Even more interestingly, we literally got a corrupted tier with a corrupted tier hammer called the Infinite Titan Keeper tier, which is also super cool and further confirms the fact that they talked about expanding his storyline, which is probably going to be happening in 10.1 as well. Furthermore, we literally got confirmation that Iridikron will actually be a boss of this dungeon, and we even got his model in it. Of course, we would have to wait and see, but personally, I don't think this is the Iridikron fight that will be happening, because that setup would have been really stupid, but this is probably going to be more like a time travel scenario to show us what happened all the way in the past, and it is pretty obvious with pretty much everything that we currently have at the moment. We literally have the corrupted and the actual version of the Titan Keeper tier that had elevated the dragon aspects. We have actual Galakrond in his old form, and we have Iridikron that we know is somehow related to him and his dark bargains. At the moment, a lot of things are pointing at the fact that his dark bargains may be related to Galakrond himself, which is why they mentioned hunger in the past in that cinematic that Iridikron had. However, my thoughts are that we're going to go to the time the aspects were actually created, so all those thousands of years ago, and to try to stop the infinites that are trying to prevent this from ever happening. This is even more evident because they said we won't actually fight Galakrond, as in he won't be a boss, so they're probably trying to stop the infinites from interrupting the dragons in doing their thing, from interrupting this process. I'm almost certain we're going to win, but the main point of this will probably be to see what Iridikron had actually done, and this will naturally progress his story, so I'm really almost certain that this is not going to be the end of Iridikron, and that they're probably saving the real boss fight for later. They won't really make 3 new cinematics and all these new models for him for Iridikron to just get defeated in a single dungeon. However, on the other side, we have even more ridiculous information that no one really saw coming, at least not as soon. Blizzard has constantly hinted at the fact that they don't really want to abandon Dragon Riding and to have it be like a one-off expansion thing, because, you know, what will be the point of learning to ride dragons? But personally, I didn't expect it to happen as soon as 10.1.5. In their official roadmap, they literally have a dragon riding event called the Kalimdor Grand Prix, which I would say is the official confirmation that we'll be able to do dragon riding, at least on Kalimdor at the moment. The reason for this, I'm almost certain, is that Quel'Thalas is a mess and unflyable anyway, like without the dragon riding, so they probably only took the time to fix up Kalimdor at the moment to make it dragon riding friendly, but this is definitely the start. However, the even more interesting information is that pretty much all the dragon mounts, so upwards of 100 and something mounts, dragon mounts, were data mined to have been assigned new model IDs and they were reclassified. You might have thought, you know, this is just a random weird speculation, but we have literally already data mined a few old mounts that have new added Dragonriding animations. We have seen a Dragonriding Voidwing mount as well as the Netherwing Drake that I previously talked about in the older video. So while the data mine trading post found Grotto Netherwing Drake may be a story point with the Netherwing Drakes because Blizzard in an interview said they will join in on the Dragon Isles drama, it turns out all the dragon mounts are going to gain a Dragonriding ability, which means that the current Dragonflight Drakes will eventually become obsolete, but overall, I'd say this is really good news. Not only will we get new features for this, but it might entice Blizzard to actually update some of the older zones or to at least patch up the flying areas, which could be, as I previously mentioned, all signs of a slight revamp that Blizzard has been up to, especially when combined with all these new models that we're receiving all the time in every single tiny patch. Furthermore, and I'll make a more detailed video on this, but warlocks are essentially coming to all the currently playable races, which is a huge thing since we are getting literally Lightforged warlocks, which is a pretty big change, and there is actually a Manari, some new Eredar Burning Region type lore that will be super interesting to cover as well. Now, even more interestingly, all restrictions have been removed for the allied races with the exception of the level requirement, meaning soon everyone will essentially be able to play as them. So essentially, all allied races will be unlocked once you reach a level 40 character, and all newly created allied race characters will be directed to Chromium. Now, as I said, there is an insane amount of information dumped because there is literally more. I mean, it even sounds like an ad. There is always more. That third evoker spec that I've talked about, that people told me I was, you know, just making stuff up, has actually been officially confirmed, as in 10.1.5, the dracthyr are going to get a new third evoker support spec called augmentation, which has been pretty evident from all the stuff we had data mined these past few months with all the new lore and the abilities. So it really was very likely, and Blizzard essentially just lied about it in recent interviews to hide their trail and to just save it for this announcement. Also, that Adamantia storyline with the dracthyr that was recently started that you guys probably know about is being continued, and we may be learning even more about the dracthyr and the relationship with Notarian, and also about Adamantia and her actual rebellion against Deathwing and why she decided to do it. Furthermore, there will be new events, so new Time Rift events, which I think will have to do with the Bronze Dragonflight storyline and this travel back in time to the times of the ancient Iridikron and the Infinite Dragonflight, where we'll more than certainly learn about what is really going on with the Bronze Dragonflight and Nosdormu. So soon we will get the Blue Dragonflight, and this 10.1.5 and possibly even 10.1.7 is going to be related to the Bronze Dragonflight and their stuff, which means they may be saving 10.2 specifically for the Green Dragonflight and that Emerald Dream stuff that we have all been talking about. However, so far we'll probably go back in time to learn what Iridikron has been up to, and I'm guessing we won't be able to stop his plan, but it will teach us what was really going on and what his dark bargain was, which might also develop in 10.2. Now, I gotta say, it is super cool that we're finally getting an official Blizzard model of Galakrond after all these years, and I gotta say it is super cool looking as well and as gigantic as I would have expected. But overall, there are a ton of news that will probably get revealed even further in the upcoming days, and it looks like the storyline of Dragonflight is finally moving. Thank you for watching. Check out that leaked Yasharaj expansion by clicking on the screen, and check out Doronsmovies Academy for videos on real world history. See you next time.